Welcome again to Kano Iwanyayi broadcast with Sangwadzispiwe Kachidza Mapfumo. Today, I bring another ordinary person doing extraordinary work. I am bringing to you Henri Kativu from Canada here in Alberta, who is everything, including being a musician. Welcome to the program, Henri.
Thank you very much. What a blessing and a pleasure to be here.
Fantastic. Now, Henri is a lot of things, like I said. He pastors, he is a father, he's a Zimbabwean on top of everything, and he's a musician. He works in the music industry, but he plays music. I had to bring him here because I've listened to some of the work that he's doing. I am totally blown away. Henri, I want you to tell me about yourself. You are from Zimbabwe. You are from Mutoko, actually.
That's right.
Okwedu, we welcome you. Yes. I want you to tell Okwedu Mandue, Kanoi, Tundakukukanudzai, for sure.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the youngest of the Biset family of the Kativu family, Kwahunu. Kuseri Kwachafika in behind that mountain, Mutoko School Pai. If you come to Mutoko Center, that with that road, it's Terrarina. I don't know to and just just before you pass on that main road, Terrarina, it's an area where there is a deep, quite Padibi, and then if you turn left, going towards, I would say, that's the north, Ndokwa Huno Ikoko, in that whole area, you come to Kwachapika, and then Huno is just all the way down to the mountains. There's some mountains. I can't even remember the names.
That is fantastic. I mean, you bring it quite close to home, right?
Yeah. Yes.
When did you move to Canada? Tell me about your journey. When did you move to Canada? And I know you've been here for quite a long time.
Yes, actually, I moved here through United States. So I moved to Canada in 1987. But I came through United States in 1986. I was part of an amazing music program. It was a tour called Reach Out Singers that I applied when I was in Zimbabwe, and what you do is you travel across United States and Canada, and they have teams going all over the world. They go to UK, Scandinavia, Russia, and North America, and so when I applied, they never thought I was going to come. They thought Africa. They had never had an African guy come and join this team, and you had to pay your own sponsorship. It cost about $1,500 to US, and back then $1,500 US back home in Zimbabwe.
It still is a lot of money. Let me tell you that $1,500 is still a lot of money for an ordinary person, right?
Plus your plane ticket. So they never thought I was coming. They just said, "Okay, we approve you. Here's the visa. You can come." And hey, by a miracle, I prayed and our family worked. And my brother Joseph, one day he said, "Let's go, Henri. Let's go buy that ticket." So I was truly blessed. And I ended up with that team, traveled with it in United States, Northwest United States, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota. And then we drove into Canada. And years ago, I used to receive this little magazine, a newspaper called Canada Weekly. So I was quite amazed. And here I am, I'm in Canada. My dream was always to go to United States. And, hey, it's the same as United States. It's beautiful. So we traveled and sang in a lot of churches. I was singing, and I was also playing guitar and bass guitar. And then after 3 months, I was invited to come to Canada. A few months later, I was invited to come to Canada by a friend I had met in Canada, who was a Canadian. He said, "Come and see us here." So I came to Canada, really loved it, and I enrolled in Bible college, and I went to Bible school. And then in 1989, I took a break before I finished Bible school to go to Zimbabwe to visit. And that's how I came to Canada. And then after that, I was called back on a missionary trip to Canada, and then it became my home.
But then you know what? I'm sure when your friend invited you to come to Canada, I'm sure it was in summer. It
It
could
was
not have been in winter because I'm telling you, you would have headed straight back to Mutoko.
exactly. In
Back
fact,
to Mutoko, kunodya mango. I don't think you would have stayed.
oh
But
no. In fact, actually, when people were, I was telling my friends in the States that I'm going to Canada, and they were like, "Are you crazy? It's cold there."
fantastic. But
But
then tell me, when you were in Zimbabwe,
yes,
um, tell me about your journey as a musician. Did you start playing music when you're in high school? How did you get into it? Because I mean, I know that back in Zimbabwe, it's not always like in high school, a kid takes on piano or trumpet or whatever. How did you get into it? How did you get into music? I'm sure you were young too that time. How
I
did
was
this work?
so young. I remember many years ago in Zimbabwe, probably in the late 60s. When I was young, we used to go to United Methodist Church, and we sang there. And actually, my dad started he was a lay leader, and he started a branch in Kadoma.
Mhm.
And so we were singing there, and that's where I got the desire to sing. We'd sing in the choir, and I always was passionate about singing. And our family sang as well. Dad was sang in his family with my aunt and uncles. So that seed was dropped and we always had Bible study at home. And then I started getting interested in instruments. So one day my sister bought me a guitar, like this one, and
Really?
I was yeah, and
How
she,
old were you? How old were you when she did that?
boy, I think I was probably about 9, 10 years old. I could barely fit my fingers onto the onto the fingerboard, and so I would untune all the strings and play it for like a banjo because my fingers couldn't reach. And from there, I started.
But you were 19. Weren't you 19 years old?
Oh no, I was 8, 9 years old.
Oh, 8, 9 years.
8, 9 years old. And then as I grew up, we moved to Kadoma, and I used to go to bars. There was a bar in Kadoma, kind of like a hotel bar. And there
Mhm.
were bands that used to come and play there. It was called Manjoro, Pamanjoro.
Kamanjoro.
Yeah, it was like a restaurant, hotel, and they had lots of bands come play. And I would go and watch them. And I would see, okay, they're holding this key, and then I'll go home and try it until I was able to play. So most of the instrument, I mean, I did end up learning from other people, but initially I was self-taught. I was so passionate about playing. I just wanted to play.
And you told yourself you can play this thing.
I can play this thing. And then, of course, as I grew up with the Oliver Mtukudzi era, Bundu Boys, and some gospel musicians, Wana, Mechanic Manyeru.
Mhm.
Yeah, Manyeru. Those were were my mentors when I
Yes.
was young. And from there, I just kept progressing until I could play.
You answered my question because I was going to ask you who were your mentors or who people who influenced you to
Yes, yeah.
have the desire, the love for music.
And in my family, we always were music. We always had a radio, and we listened to music. Back then,
Mhm.
radio was the only medium. We didn't have
Mhm.
TV back then in the 60s, right? Late
Mhm.
60s, early 70s. TV came later on.
Yeah.
But we listened to the Beatles. We were listening to Elton John. We listened to all the groups, Beach Boys, and all the American groups. But we had our own, mentors like
People. Mhm.
Ajay Bana, Freedom Sangwai. I sang a
Yes.
lot of those Freedom Sangwai songs.
You know what? We keep talking about this. I think people are just like, okay, we want to hear this thing. You know, the one that I really like is the Zimbabwe jive. Zimbabwe jive, you call it?
Yes, Zimjive.
Okay, play that one. Zim jive. Play that one.
Okay.
Play. I know you recorded it. Play it for us, and let's hear that.
Okay.
Not on your guitar. I want you to play the recorded one.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Right.
Are we winning?
We're gonna redo it. I just quickly load it again.
Because I think it's really beautiful. I mean, I like it. Okay. You know, I was gonna ask you. Okay. Right. Do you think you can stop it? Yes. Okay. I was going to ask you. I knew your father. I know your family very well. I knew your father. He came here to Canada, and last time I saw him, how old was he? 96, 90?
He was 96 when he came here. And
did Sekuru play any music? Did he play any instrument at all?
Sekuru airidza ngoma. It was ngoma.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all
Yes,
that.
yes,
Yes, you used to be very much into that. It was quite such a tradition,
yes,
because every celebration or
yes.
those drums would tell you about what's going on.
Drums, they play a very integral part of our lives. When
Yeah.
the child is born, chinoridzwa ngoma. When munhu anenge afa, kunoridzwa tsuri, kunoridzwa ngoma.
Yeah.
Kana uri muchato, they, for weddings, for parties, for every event, So I'm glad. But did you have any problems with you playing guitar? Because you know how traditionally parents will be kind of concerned about kids who are vakutamba zvemagitare. It had a bad reputation.
Yes, because once uzaita chikoro saka.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, you know what? Because that was always musical. Plus, the church played a role because when we were back then, when we were United Methodist, there were choirs.
Mm-hmm.
Kuchurch choir is show.
Yes.
But then eventually they started introducing some instruments. So, like the one thing,
Bira.
mbira, and then also a piano accordion, because we needed instruments that didn't need any electrical power
Yes. Yes.
back
Yes.
then. Yes. So no, he actually encouraged me. I remember one time, because I used to only play, I never sang. I
Yeah.
played.
Yes. I can hear your instrument. They're all instrumental, right?
Right. And then he said to me, Henry, why is it that you just play guitar? Play and sing. I want you to play and sing. That's when I started playing.
You were really gifted. You were lucky to have a family and a parent who understood it. And while we're at it, as a footnote,
Mhm.
I'm old school. I went to school near Diri Mission back in the 60s, in 65. And
Yeah.
I remember Abraham Marairi, who is what's her name? The girl who played Mbira, who passed away, the Marairi girl. Her
Oh,
father,
yes, yes, yes.
yes, her father, when she came from the United States, I
Oh,
think it was
yeah.
1967. I was still at Nyadira. I was a little girl. But
Yeah.
he introduced all these instruments into the Methodist Church. Then it was now welcome because people, again, so colonized. They thought kurizambira, kurizangoma, ndezvechivanhu. Saka it
Yes.
wasn't quite welcome.
On.
Yeah, exactly. But then from there on, all these instruments were integrated. They were brought into Methodist Church, particularly in Mutoko area. That was the church which was predominant, and
Right.
yeah, then it became part of our worship
Worship
and
out.
mhm,
Exactly.
mhm.
Yeah, I remember, yeah, when it first was introduced,
Uh-huh.
people getting used to it, uh,
Yeah.
they were a little bit taken aback, thinking,
Mm.
what is this music, guitars in church? But now every church plays music. And I mean, in the scripture, Psalms 150, it says, praise the Lord with all strings in instruments, loud sounding cymbals, timbrels. It was just, people were not really well versed and ignorant about that. Hey, these things are just things.
Well, I am a bit more aggressive with that. People are just very colonized. They just think anything that is African is hidden.
That's
Everything that, yeah,
no.
up till now, we're still battling with that. Our customs and our traditions, people looking down upon them and thinking that's so hidden. That's just not what we do as Christians. So that's another story for another day. I want to enjoy the music.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great. Yes.
And now I know, Mamzukuru, your kids are also very, very
Yeah.
musical.
Yes. When I came back to Canada, I was invited back, and that's how I met my wife in our church that we were going to. And we have two boys, blessed with two boys, and both of them play with us. Matthew is the oldest.
Mhm.
He used to play saxophone and clarinet, as well as drums.
Mhm.
So now he's actually at university, Grant McEwen University in the city of Edmonton, taking his music degree. And he plays really well. He plays drums. He's playing now in sessions where he's hired to play. But his desire is he'd like to teach music. So after his degree, he's thinking of taking the education degree and be a music teacher. But we're really blessed because of that. And then David plays bass guitar,
Mhm.
plays bass, and he plays keyboard. So, I'm so happy that they're, extending this gift, this
That's right.
talent. Exactly.
Does Debbie play any music? Your wife, Debbie?
Actually, my wife sings and plays keyboard. She actually has Royal Conservatory. She plays classical music, and she actually taught music for a while to students that came home. So she's very. I'm not Royal Conservatory, but when we play and we have to read music, she helps us, and she's amazing.
It's just a family full of musicians. Which
Yeah,
I think is so beautiful because you do this today, you play music together, you enjoy music together
yeah.
with your wife and your children, and then the boys are big now. I should tell them, come and play for me.
Right. It's been a while since
Since you've been to see me. That's true.
talking
Um,
talking about that, we have a connection, us and you, because of the Kachizas and my
yes,
mom's side. So
yes,
we
yes.
we have that blessing and that heritage, and to have you in the same city is such a blessing.
It's nice for me to live with my Bazukuru. I can bring you on my podcast and let you play because I know what you're gifted. I'm not just bringing you because you're Zukuru. I'm bringing you because I think you're doing amazing stuff. You're an ordinary person who is doing extraordinary stuff and
Thank
bringing Zimbabwe to the fore here when people know you're Canadian now. You're Zimbabwean Canadian, and
That's right.
but you're Canadian Zimbabwean, any which way you want to say. Lived here for over 30 years, but
Yes.
still, when we say, who was that guy who was playing? And then we say, that guy is from our country. He's from Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
It really, it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
It gives us manyemwe. Ekuti munhu wedu ndewe kwedu ye and is playing, yeah. So what if I may ask, what genre do you play of music? Because I keep picking the jazzy beat in your instrumental music, because in the end, before we wind up, I would like to play the one that I really like.
That's right.
Yes,
So
yes.
what? I'm a gospel songwriter. I write gospel songs. I've done 4 albums so far.
Mm-hmm.
First one I did was in 1987 when I first came to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
The second one was in 1989. And then the third one is called You Are My Everything. We didn't play any songs from there, but all on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
The last one with I'm Dancing is this one that is these 2 songs that are instrumental. So that one, I like to. The instrumental one was not something that I planned. I wrote these songs thinking I'm going to put words to them. And then it was when I went to production and the producer I worked with, he said, these songs are good the way they are.
Mm-hmm.
Just leave them. It's nice. People like to listen sometimes to music in the car while driving or singing. So I left them the way they were. But I tend to be more a mixture of Afro jazz, gospel.
Well, I love jazz, and I kept hearing the jazz bit of it, and I loved it. I think let's play Dancing Away.
Okay, all right.
Play it to the end.
Okay.
I hope the sound will be as good as the one that you sent me. I wish I had, could share that one, but play.
Dance with me.
I'm dancing, I'm dancing, I'm dancing, I'm dancing. I'm dancing, I'm dancing. I'm dancing, I'm dancing.
Oh, fantastic, Henry. I, I, I have the CD that you gave me once. Sorry. I do have the CD that you gave me, and I really, really enjoy it. I play it all the time, and I totally. When I listen to it, I can't believe it's Henry who playing this.
Oh, thank you.
Fantastic. You know what? I think people who have been listening, they're probably saying wow, just as I am saying wow. This is really beautiful, and I'm glad you followed your dream. Something like music is something that's inside, and you know what?
Yeah.
Keep going and keep going. It's not a monetary thing. You do it to make you happy, and you do it to make the rest of us happy, right?
Well, thank you so much. Well, thank you for the opportunity to share this on your platform. And, sometimes people don't even know that's what you do.
That's true.
Platforms like this make people aware, and you want to share the gift. You don't want to hide it. You want people to know. And I know.
Let it shine. Let it shine.
Let it shine. In fact, some of the songs earlier, when the 87 ones were played on Venga for a long time, like the song All Magnify and We're Family was played on Venga from 87 to 89. So,
so you've been there. Just so maybe people didn't really know who is this Henri Kativu. Well, here you are. Thank you so much for coming to my program. And for those who have been following us, please like and subscribe to Kano Iwanyai. As I told people, I migrated everything, all the information on Kano Iwanyai from my personal Spiwa Kachiza Mapfumo on to Kano Iwanyai, and you can subscribe on YouTube. Follow us. We keep bringing all kinds of amazing people, ordinary people who are doing amazing work in our communities. So I will see you again next week when I bring another ordinary person doing an extraordinary work. Henry, you have a fantastic day, and thank you so much for coming. And for everybody, have a good evening.
Thank you. God bless.